Welcome inside episode 619 of the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Ross Levitan on the outskirts of enemy territory in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And Pilsy is still on vacation, but he did join me for our interview coming up today with Ottawa Senators' 5th round pick in the 2022 draft, Cameron O'Neill. Fantastic conversation about his upbringing in hockey, growing up in Maryland, kind of a rare place for an NHL prospect, but we also get into his draft day experience and choosing UMass over North Dakota. All that's coming up. Plus, I'll put a stamp or a bow, I should say, on the World Junior Hockey Championship, where good news turned into great news with an update on Ridley Gray's health. All that coming up on today's edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.
Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Senators your first listen on this Monday, August 22nd. We are free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube, where the best way you can help the show grow is to like every video by clicking the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We're on our road to 3,500. It's going to be a fun milestone to hit. And also, leave a comment as well. The comment we want to know is, with Ridley Gray, how safe do you want to play it with his health? Does he miss the start of training camp, just the rookie tournament? I'll tell you the exact update that GM of Team Canada and the Ottawa 67s, James Boyd, gave the boys over at TSN 1200. But I also want to mention the YouTube channel. We've got some exclusive content going out just there, and it is the organizational value rankings. We have 8 tiers. They're dropping every Tuesday and Thursday over the next month, and well, the first 2 are already available to you. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can put in your queue and watch it after. If you're driving, if you're listening to this in audio form, then, well, you've got some extra coverage if you'd like to follow along. Tier 6, which is the Still Prospects tier, will be coming out tomorrow. And as I said, Pilsy will rejoin me on Wednesday, where we have a fantastic Sens Central citizen with Jimmy Hyde. We are going all the way across the world and down under to Australia, our 3rd Australian Sens Central citizen. If you missed any Sens Central citizens, we do have our playlists on YouTube available for you as well. Make it nice and easy to go find those out. All right, enough administrative stuff. We've got a fantastic interview to get to, and on the other side of it, I'll break down the World Juniors. But first, the update on Ridley Gray. James Boyd was on 1200, and he says it's nothing super serious. We know it's a separated shoulder. Bob McKenzie said that as much as Ridley Gray gave the one-arm trophy carry around. They kind of do the whole Stanley Cup thing at the World Juniors. If you missed it, phenomenal game. But again, I'll save that for the other side because we want to get into our chat with Cameron O'Neill. And before we get to it, a quick word, and it's more of a PSA than an advertisement, but it is super important, and that is to eliminate drunk driving. Like, here's the situation. You're hanging out with some friends. You're putting back a few drinks. A few becomes a few too many sometimes. And as the evening comes to an end, people start to head out, and you think of calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. You can make it home okay. It's no big deal. What are the odds you'll get pulled over anyways? And if so, what's the worst that could happen? Your insurance goes up. You lose your license. You lose your job. You total your car. You could even kill someone. You know, everyone knows the risk of driving drunk. The results are tragic and often deadly. However, it still doesn't stop enough people from getting behind the wheel under the influence. And that's why police officers are out there right now looking for impaired drivers on our roads. The whole point is to save lives. So if you think you're able to drive after a few drinks, think again. Just play it safe. Why not? Uber's right there. Car share, taxi, super easy. Get a ride with a friend, a designated driver. It only takes one mistake to change your life or someone else's forever. Drive sober or get pulled over. All right, now let's get to our interview with Ottawa Senators 2022 5th round pick. It's Cameron O'Neill. All right, we now welcome on a very special guest who just had a very special day about a month ago when he was selected 143rd overall by the Ottawa Senators in the 2022 NHL draft. He attended the Mount St. Charles Academy over the last few years, and now he's taking his talents to the USHL before heading to the University of Massachusetts. Cam O'Neill, welcome to Locked On Senators. How you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic, man. We got a lot we want to get into with you. You know, how you fell in love with the game, who your influences were. But first question's pretty easy. You scored 57 goals and had 133 points in 62 games last year. How much fun was hockey?
It was awesome. I loved every minute of it. Yeah, definitely the most fun year of hockey I've had. So
No doubt. I mean, you kind of, I mean, you scored 2 points per game the year before, but like what clicked?
I think just the mental side of the game. I had a lot of confidence and the consistency side of it. Just every single game bringing my all, no matter who we were playing, and kind of just helped with the point side.
It's unreal,
And
man.
now, how important was it that you had a chance to play so many games, like 62 games? I'm looking at your elite prospects, and that seems to be the most that you played in a season. Like, what was that grind like playing 62, and how were you able to carry so much success through a long season like that?
I mean, I loved playing that many games because the year prior with COVID, I think we only played like 30. So to have a normal year, it felt awesome. And I mean, it was a little bit of a longer year, but I think just taking care of yourself and yeah, it wasn't bad. I think it was kind of spread out over 8 months, so it wasn't too hard. And especially you know, when we were playing 4 or 5 games a weekend, you just had to um, oh, what was that?
Oh,
Sorry about that.
All good, all good.
all good.
Someone just crashed there. No, but just taking care of your body. Our coach was very big fan on the ice baths, so we'd have to do that
Nice.
every single weekend, mandatory. So yeah, just taking care of your body. That was the biggest thing.
Are you a fan of the ice baths?
I mean, no, not when you get in there, but after, yeah, because it definitely helps the next game.
Yeah, it's just kind of a recovery thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So before we start going forward and the next stop on your journey towards the NHL, I want to go all the way back. I mean, you're from Odenton. I hope I pronounced that right, in Maryland.
Odenton.
Odenton. All right. And you played for Team Maryland as starting at a pretty young age. I'm seeing 13U here. Like, where was your first love for hockey? Where did you discover it? And then ultimately, when did you start thinking, hey, I'm pretty decent at this?
So I was pretty much born into hockey. I have 2 older brothers. So growing up, I would go to every single one of their games, practices, and just wanted to be just like them. So they were my role models. So just from a very young age, I wanted to play hockey. And I think I probably put the skates on for the first time at like age 3. So
They didn't throw you in goal?
No, I mean, maybe out on the street playing street hockey. But I actually like playing goalie like that. But yeah, I think just from a young age, I loved hockey, and it's what I wanted to do ever since.
Yeah, that's awesome. Ross and I are both goalies, so we always try to do a little scouting on any new Sens players to see if they played.
Especially the younger brothers. That's where it's most likely.
Yeah, that's a good point. Usually you get stuck in the net there. But I read an article, Cam, that was saying that a lot of your friends and people around you, other than your family, obviously, were into other sports. Like it was lacrosse, baseball, that kind of stuff. So when you're off playing hockey, was it easy to kind of stay focused, and that's like your own little world aside from your friends? Or what was that dynamic like growing up as a kid? You just loved hockey, but no one else in your kind of peer group seemed to be that interested.
Yeah, it was a little different just because, you know, everyone around me is playing other sports. You don't really have your hockey friends, but I think it was easy because, you know, you have your teammates, and those are probably my closest friends growing up, and especially now. I mean, 4 of my closest friends here at home all play hockey, and that's who I hang out with the most. And, you know, luckily went to school with them away too. So it was a lot of fun, but I think you just got to have, you know, your hockey friends and then your friends away from hockey.
That's awesome. And I was reading as well that you're not the first from your area to be drafted. Was it Jared Tenorti who kind of set the tone for the area you grew up in?
I don't know who that is. So
No. Okay. No, that's strange. I guess he attended the same middle school and high school as you.
wow.
Defensive for the New York Rangers. So
Couple years earlier.
Yeah.
Couple years. I know for you and me, Pillsy, it's just like we're getting old anyways. All good. There was a photo of you two wearing a Canucks jersey. Are you what was your team growing up?
I'm a Caps fan.
I mean, that makes sense being the hometown
Maryland,
team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you get out to many games as a kid?
Yeah, I went to a few games every year. So that was a lot of fun.
I mean,
Nice.
2018, kind of the height of that.
Yeah, went to a few games on that playoff run.
Yeah. What was your favorite memory of that whole run?
I think I was watching the final game where they won. I was in a hotel with a bunch of my buddies. We're at a spring tournament, and I think just watching it with a bunch of Caps fans, like we were going nuts watching them win that.
How far is where you're from to where the Caps play?
It just depends on traffic. It could be like an hour, or it could be 2 hours.
So it's not too far then.
Close.
Still.
Yeah, not too bad.
Okay, cool, nice. And I'm assuming this is probably the easiest question. Ovi, being an offensive player, is probably your go-to favorite player.
Yeah, love watching them.
Fair
Can't
enough.
blame you there. Yeah.
What's your favorite playoff series you've ever seen the Caps play? Was there one that sticks out? I mean, this might even be before your time where you're locked in, but I mean, him and Crosby obviously had a few battles back.
They were
in
exchanging
their day.
hat tricks that one series.
Yeah,
That was
that
wild.
was crazy.
Unreal.
I think I'm going to go with 2018 where they beat the Penguins, just to see them finally beat them after being tortured by them every single year. That felt good.
Yeah, 100%. So the next stop for you is Tri-City. You got a little taste there. What was your first impression of moving to the USHL?
It was quite a jump, but I loved it. It was very interesting. I think kind of going in there, first game, get a goal, like it felt good. And once I got that, I was comfortable. But definitely a faster pace of play from what I was used to, but I think I could handle it.
Yeah, and not only is that a change in competition level, but like you mentioned, a lot of your buddies were your teammates on your other team. So now you get introduced to a whole new roster of players. Mm-hmm. How kind of tricky was it not only leveling up in competition, but now you got all new line mates, new coaches, new systems, new practice times, all that kind of stuff. How tough was that transition for such a short period of time there?
It definitely was a little bit hard, but all the guys on Tri-City were amazing. I mean, it was a great group of guys. So they took me in right away, and everyone was so helpful, reaching out, just making sure I was comfortable. And I mean, first game, they put me with two of the best players on the team. So that's
always a good feeling.
Yeah, it felt good. And, they made sure that I played well and that I felt comfortable.
That's awesome. And looking at the program itself, the Tri-City Storm, I mean, just last year, Carter Mazer, Matthew Nyes, I think they had 7 NHL drafted prospects. So clearly an organization that's doing the right thing. And for you, it's a stopgap year, more or less, in terms of transitioning from the high school game into your commitment to the University of Massachusetts. What went into choosing UMass, and what are you most excited about from making the jump there after your year at USHL?
I think the biggest thing was Coach Greg Carvel.
He's a former Senators either assistant coach, or he has a connection to Ottawa, doesn't he?
Yeah, he coached in Ottawa. So
nice.
When I got drafted, he texted me about that. He's like, yeah, it's a great place. Like, I'm happy for you. But he was a big reason. When I met with him on campus, like after I left his office, it's like this feels like home. Like, this is a place, I could see myself going. And after I left campus, I was like, yeah, I think this is the place where I want to be, and committed a few weeks later. So
nice. Did you check out any other schools? What were your other options you were looking at?
So my top 3 schools were UMass, North Dakota, and Penn State.
Obviously, the Sens have quite the history drafting out of North Dakota. I'm in
we're
Winnipeg,
big NoDak guys.
Just down the street. But UMass, you said just the campus. It's also a little closer to home. Just a quick Google. It's like a 6-hour drive, give or take.
Yeah, it's about 6-7 hours. I think North Dakota is just so far. Like
100%.
It'd be tough. I want my family to be able to come to my games. So
no, it makes total sense. I'm just looking up Greg Carvel too. Pillsy, he was the Sens assistant coach during the glory years, like 2005 to 2011. So Cam, you got lots of knowledge to get out of him, man. He saw the Danny Heatleys, the Daniel Alfredsons, Jason Spetz, all those guys come through Ottawa. So that's going to be a great guy. And obviously he's been at UMass since 2016. So he has the championship pedigree. Did you commit before or after UMass won the national title?
It was after. So it was September.
I'm sure that helps though.
Yeah, definitely.
Having the prestige of that at the end of the day too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm really excited about it. So.
That's awesome. Oh, another thing we want to bring up with you is Sens Dev Camp. You had your first glimpse of the city of Ottawa, of spending some time there. What's your biggest takeaway now? It's been a few weeks to have it digest.
Sens Camp was awesome. I mean, just meeting all the guys, getting a look at the city, and then all the facilities. I think it was amazing. And one thing I'll take away is the fan base was awesome. I mean, going out to the first skate and there's fans everywhere in the rink. Like, wow, like I've never had that happen before, and there was media everywhere. And then the 3-on-3 tournament, like there's fans everywhere in the rink. Like it just shows how much the fans care and how much they love this team.
First time visiting Ottawa ever in your life?
Yep, first time.
That's
I've been
awesome.
to Toronto before, but
yeah,
first time
that's awesome. It's a nice city, eh? Especially in the summer.
Yeah,
you
very
guys,
nice.
I saw you guys had a chance to go to Blues Fest as well.
Yeah, yep. So downtown, it was awesome seeing everything.
What
I mean,
what'd you guys see? What'd you guys see at Blues Fest?
Some 41 and Alexis on Fire, right?
Some 41.
Yeah,
I was gonna say to us, that's what we grew up with.
Those are right up my alley. Yeah, those are two. Alexis on Fire is like my favorite band ever. So, but a lot of the prospects probably don't know them. Who were your the other two guys on your 3-on-3 team?
It was 5. So I had Donovan.
Nice.
I had NoDak. What did I have? I'm blanking here.
That's all right. Those two guys fill out 3 players. So
yeah, no doubt. So by that though, I have a feeling that you guys didn't get to lift the trophy.
No, I did.
What? So you don't remember? I thought when you win together, you stick together. I mean, come on, you got to be on the hot seat here.
Well, Ross, you're on the hot seat, assuming Cam didn't get the W here.
Well, I just figured he'd know his teammates if he was the winner.
You didn't watch the video?
No, I mean,
see the Instagram post.
There you go. I should have that printed up because we had Carson Latimer on. He goes, "Yeah, we're the President's Trophy winners." Said they won the round robin. So
yeah,
hey, you guys took it from
we were
them.
last place.
No way!
Ended up
Team
winning.
of destiny.
Nice Cinderella story.
Are we sure that Dono didn't pull anything with his old man?
Yeah, maybe we gotta look into that.
I think it was pretty fair.
Okay, we got to check the game notes. Who was someone that was there? And I know you're focused on what you're doing as well. Your first camp, kind of as you mentioned, kind of wide-eyed, bushy-tailed with all the fans and everything. But was there anyone else you just hadn't heard of before? Where when maybe you're on the bench at the 3-on-3 or whatnot, where you're like, damn, like he jumped out at me and I didn't really know anything about him before the week.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys like that. I wasn't too familiar with anybody, but I'll say Ridley Gray.
Yeah, nice.
Just seeing him out there, it was like, wow. I mean, just how hard he works and kind of does everything right. So, and I mean, you could say that about almost any guy there. Just everyone works so hard. But yeah,
apologies for the Canada jersey behind me. I know you're a good US kid, but it's that time of year. But hey, there is one connection though. You were telling us before you skate with Stephen Halliday before, and as recently or maybe since, but right before the draft, and then all of a sudden you guys are on the same team. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So is that just kind of a coincidence that you guys skate together, or how did your relationship begin?
I would say it began pretty much at Sens Dev Camp. That's
okay, cool.
We became friends. But yeah, I mean, like we skated with each other yesterday, little like 5v5 game. So we skate with each other a couple times a week.
How's he looking?
Pretty good.
Yeah, because he's off to college next season, so he'll be able to kind of tell you what to expect at that NCAA level. Hey, that'll be a nice guy to lean on.
Mm-hmm.
And also, he can let you know about the USHL. He had a big year with the Dubuque Fighting Saints. So.
I'm pretty sure he's like top 5 in league history in scoring. Am I wrong at that?
He is.
He lit it up.
We've talked to each other a lot about the USHL. He's given me some tips and stuff. So it's nice that we've met.
That's awesome. Yeah. Last thing for me, and really appreciate you joining us, Cam. I know that it's been a whirlwind of a summer, not knowing where you're going to go. All of a sudden, it's Ottawa, a place you'd never been, and now you've got some time here before training camp with the USHL. But what were the conversations like, whether it was with Sean Donovan or Jesse Winchester or maybe the management with the Senators? What are they expecting to see out of you next year to take a step forward in your development?
I think just more just off ice, just having a really good routine every single day and just kind of training like a pro, and then, get a little bit faster, get a little bit stronger, and just keep playing my game and getting better. They know I have a few years before I'm even ready. So just take my time. It's not going to happen right away. So just keep getting ready, keep getting better every single day. And, when the time comes, I'll be ready.
Yeah, I like that. That's the thing. Like, you can only kind of work on what's in front of you. You don't have to look too far ahead. You got a big season coming up on a great team in the Tri-City Storm in the USHL. So your work's cut out for you now, and you can get ready for that. Final question for me, Cam. Take us through your draft day. Like, I love hearing about guys' draft day. It's got to be probably the best day of your life so far, at least one of the big ones. So take us through what your day looked like when you were selected by the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, so I was at home and just my family at home watching with me, and we saw Ottawa was on the clock, and I knew that they were pretty interested. I had a feeling like could be this pick because I knew I was going to be around the 5th round, and it was kind of taking a little long, and everyone was getting anxious, and then saw my name pop up, and you were like, oh my God, like everyone started freaking out, and I kind of blanked out. I was like, oh my God, like I can't even believe this is happening. Like just something you dream about, and to see your name on that draft board, like it's just something you can't even describe. And then
go ahead.
And then after, we had a lot of friends and more family come over and just celebrate it. So it was a lot of fun.
I was going to say, it begged the follow-up. I know we said last question, a little trick of the trade. I asked the last question, then he asked the last question. But you said that you had a good feeling about Ottawa. What was that based on your pre-scout meetings with them? You just felt like there was a connection there?
Yeah, so I had a really good interview with them. And then my agent just kind of saying, yeah, Ottawa's really interested. And they have 3 5th-round picks. Like, it just seems like it could work out. But he's like, you never know what's going to happen. But I think I have a strong feeling it's going to be Ottawa. And he turned out to be right. So it's pretty cool.
That's so cool. Well, welcome to the organization, man. As you saw from a development camp in the middle of July, the passion of Sens fans is year-round. And we're excited to follow you this season and beyond, this season with the Tri-City Storm and then at the University of Massachusetts camp. Thank you very much, man. We look forward. Hopefully we'll have you on again later on.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Stick taps to Cameron for joining us. Really appreciate the conversation and getting to know him a little bit better. Of course, Team Maryland star. And how much fun would hockey be if you could score 130 plus points in 50 games? Of course, it'll be a little bit different for him now going to the University of Massachusetts after a full season in Tri-City. But we're going to be following along to see the offensive potential and whether or not Cam O'Neill can get on the radar for a real NHL contract eventually down the road. But it's one of those 5th-round picks where you're betting on the upside, and certainly Cam has that. So lots of great stuff there. Again, if you missed any interviews, you want to go catch up on some, we've got a playlist on YouTube. You can go on the audio platform wherever you get your podcast and go. And we had Angus Crookshank on Friday. That was phenomenal. Igor Sokolov last Monday. And we've got a few big ones coming up soon. A reminder that we will be going back to 5 shows per week on September 13th. And that is the start of the week where rookies report for Ottawa Senators training camp. And then the rookie tournament in Buffalo starts September 16th. So Ridley Gray, we mentioned just before the interview that he has a separated shoulder, but it's not too severe. What do you want to do with him? Do you put him in the rookie tournament where I would expect he would have played, as most players from the development camp roster would be there? Or do you hold him out for training camp and hope that he can earn a spot on the NHL team? I'm leaning towards just holding him out until mid to late September and allow him extra time to heal, because we saw what happened with Shane Pinto. You can never be too careful, especially with these separated shoulders. Give it as much time to heal as possible. Of course, Ridley Gray, fantastic at the World Juniors, was named player of the game in 2 out of the 4 full games he played. He finished the tournament with 5 games, although was hurt in the first period of that 5th game. Had 3 goals, 3 assists, averaging third-line minutes, 11 minutes and 31 seconds. So he was a matchup center, but certainly did his job well before leaving with injury. The top scorer at the World Juniors from a Sens Prospect point of view was Roby Järventie. How about the game he had in the semifinals to get Finland to the finals? 4 points on 5 Finland goals. Finished the tournament with 4 goals, 5 assists in 7 games, averaging 14 minutes. And then everyone else was, I'd say, more pedestrian. Zach Ostapchuk, gold medalist. How's that? But he was more of a depth piece, a guy, energizer, forechecker. Finished with 1 goal. It was the 11th goal in 11-2 win over Slovakia, and then 2 assists as well. Tomas Hamara, his first appearance as a Sens prospect, had 2 assists in 7 games, 18 minutes and 14 seconds. After a really tough first game, he was able to battle back and had a great rest of his tournament, really stabilizing that Czechia defense, allowing them the opportunity to play for bronze, ultimately losing to Sweden in that game. And back to Finland with the goaltender, Levi Meriläinen. 3-1 record, sure, that's nice, but an .893 save percentage. And the Finnish coach decided in the semis, I'm riding this hunch. I'm going to go with the other guy. And Yukari, I might be butchering that name, but the other goalie went in for Finland, undrafted, passed over, and he was unreal. Had a shutout in the semis and was a big reason why the finals against Canada went to overtime. And Tyler Kleven, the K-Train, was his physical self, third in ice time amongst Team USA defensemen, but he also finished with the worst plus-minus as well. And take that stat with a grain of salt, but 5 games, no points. It's going to be a big year. I want to see him develop his offensive side at North Dakota a lot this year. So we'll see if he can accomplish that. Now, the game itself, the gold medal game, and I'll admit it, I probably wasn't as into the World Juniors as I typically am around Christmas time. And there's a lot of guys, who weren't necessarily in the lineup who you'd like to see. But that to say, man, that was some great hockey. Canada's up 2-0, up 2-0 in the third period. Finland scores once, they score twice. It goes to overtime. Finland thinks that they're about to win the game. They thought they were so close. The puck bounced over goaltender Dylan Garand. And as it hit the goal line, Mason McTavish, team captain, said, no, not today. Not here. So we had some fun with it at Sens Central. If you're watching on Twitter, on YouTube, you can see we post this on Twitter. Did pretty well. Game 7 is Mason McTavish. The Leafs are the puck. And the second round is the net. Mason McTavish just pulled it right off the goal line. And I want to give credit, actually. We had a phenomenal reply here. Again, you can follow the show on Twitter at Sens Central. I got to scroll through all these upset Leaf fans who are rolling through the mentions of this tweet. Here we go. I got to find it. But anyways, here he says that what makes this even better is the fact that it's a Toronto Maple Leafs prospect missing, and it is also an Ottawa-born area. Carp, Ontario. Shout out Carp, anyone listening, Carp. But it's Primetime Sens. Okay, I really wanted to get that shout out in there because he mentions that Mason McTavish being an Ottawa area guy just kind of adds to the beauty of this. It's not quite the Leaf pile, which we'll pull up right here, the Leaf pile. Game 7 against Tampa. That's always handy for us, but it was a phenomenal play. And then so Mason McTavish makes that play in overtime. And next thing you know, they go down the other way. Kent Johnson, after a beautiful feed from Logan Stankoven, he gets hit and then still aims his backhand pass, gets it over Kent Johnson, stopped on the first attempt, sticks with his rebound. They win gold. So Ridley Gray is a gold medalist at the World Juniors, joining Jake Sanderson and Tyler Kleven. So that's 3 gold medals for the 2020 Senators draft class. I'm sure Tim Stützle wishes he could have got gold, but he'll have to settle for being the best forward in the tournament back in 2020. No slight against him, though, as Team Germany. Remember that game against Canada? I think it was 16-2. Welcome to playing Canada at an international event. So Canada wins gold. World Juniors are in the books, and that means we can firmly turn our attention to the Ottawa Senators. Now, interview season here on Locked On Senators will continue for a little bit longer, but then we're going into burning questions. We're going into who the X factor is, who has the most pressure on them, and how much patience can the Ottawa Senators have at the start of this season after back-to-back starts of 4 wins in their first 20 games. That's what we're going to get into in the next few weeks. I mentioned we've got some fantastic interviews confirmed coming up soon here as we enter year 4. This is the 4th season of us with Locked On. So we're really excited. Big things coming up. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. And we've got a whole whack of shows here on the Locked On NHL channel. And leading up to the preseason, we're also going to invite on the hosts of Locked On Canadiens, Locked On Leafs, Locked On Sabres, Red Wings, Panthers, Lightning, all the divisional teams. And we're going to get previews from local experts on the biggest stories. So make sure you're locked on wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Pilsy will be back on Wednesday. Jimmy Hyde from Down Under will be our Sens Central citizen. And again, for bonus coverage, head over to our YouTube page and let us know what you think about the organizational value rankings. For Cameron O'Neill and Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.